Welcome to the first chapter in our generational wealth story. Today we discuss wealth creation, an uncomfortable topic for many. For the most part, our community tends to make financial decisions from a consciousness of poverty and lack. Although more and more of us own businesses, real estate, and other assets, our primary orientation is towards paying down liabilities rather than growing our assets. So today you are invited to be a part of this uncomfortable conversation with our guest Charlene Spence, realtor in the Dominican Republic and New Brunswick, homeowner and property manager in both countries, and Noel Hansen, insurance and wealth advisor with Sun Life Financial. Charlene will speak to us about real estate as wealth creation, and Noel will get into financial vehicles as wealth creation.
When I was in college, I wrote a paper about our political system and market economy being like a machine that had many different cogs. And the machine only worked because every cog in the machine did exactly what it was supposed to do, everything the machine thought it would do. And that is why everything stayed the same, a relative situation of status quo. Now, in this paper, I had the radical idea that if an individual generation would decide to stop rotating, to stop operating like a cog in the machine, that the machine would be so offset that it would need to be deconstructed, analyzed, and rebuilt. And that from it, you could get the possibilities of a new society and a new market economy. I was a very zealous and overexcited political science major. But that still has led me to look at our world for the opportunities where a single generation could make a decision that could in fact change their position in the machine, their perspective of the market economy. This is now anybody who's sitting watching this video from the ages of 20 to approximately 40, because you could make a decision right now that could help the very reality of your family, the same way my grandma did. There are city centers all over this country that give you the opportunity to go 4 hours north, 4 hours west, 4 hours east, 4 hours south, depending on where you are, and lay roots. And why are you laying roots there? You're laying roots there to wait for the great infrastructure investment that has to come the more the country grows. Now, this is not an invest and flip your money quick. This is a generational decision to change the outlook of your family. And on that day, you'll be able to flip these investments for up to 60 times your money, especially if it's held over 20 years from these more rural environments. Eventually, we are going to have to send people to Killarney, Ontario, to Wawa, to Petawawa, to grow and handle the infrastructure for the immigration decision that we've clearly made. I guess the question becomes, how many of you are willing to be the cog that makes a radical decision like I wrote in that paper and be a part of it?
Today, I want to start with the idea of asset and liability. In short, an asset puts money in your pocket, while liabilities take money from your pocket. By this formulation, real estate is only an asset if it is making you money. If you are every month paying out of pocket, mortgage, insurance, utilities, and property taxes on your home, you own a liability. Now, if you convert that property to a use which pays for all the expenses of the property, you have an asset. The relevant question is then, how do we use real estate as an asset? How do we use real estate to create wealth? In today's market, our major considerations are higher interest rates, higher housing prices, and low inventory. But consider that this same market is affected by many other push and pull factors. Immigration and our aging population are two relevant pull factors which demand some innovative and brave approaches. Taken together, investing in real estate continues to be a viable and prudent financial decision. It just means we need to look further than our immediate and surrounding communities. It requires us to move outside of our comfort zones and consider the housing demands for the many classes of persons moving about the country. There are now increasing housing demands from international students, work permit holders, new residents, as well as care facilities for our elder and aging population. If you look east to the maritime provinces where property values are still quite low and affordable, you can purchase a house in New Brunswick, PEI, or Newfoundland and rent it out to students, or a family, or a combination of both. With the innovations in property management, you can manage that property remotely with an app or directly with a property management company who can customize a management plan from interviewing renters to maintenance and upkeep, to move-out inspection. This can all be done at rates that keep your investment an asset while equity grows and likewise your wealth. This scenario is viable in other countries which are also experiencing a development growth to solve existing housing problems as well as attract real estate investment. Realtors are now adjusting their practice to accommodate overseas investors who not only want to own a foreign property but want to use it to generate profit. The same rules apply. Consult the professionals and retain a lawyer who is licensed to practice in the province or country. You will find many law firms that are multi-jurisdictional and can represent you in the purchase or sale of an overseas property without you ever having to leave the country. Along with a reputable property manager, you're on your way to building generational wealth with multiple properties and potentially multiple streams of income.
Many people find financial planning complex and simply choose to put it off. Others may be confused. It's actually pretty simple. Financial planning, simply put, is charting and following a roadmap to get from where you are to where you want to be 10, 15, or 20 years from now. It's like bringing your family for a road trip, your parents, spouse, and of course, the children. You start from getting to know your current financial position. What financial resources or assets do you already have in place? What sort of liabilities do you have, and how much? How's your cash flow position? Is it enough to power your journey? From your financial position, financial ratios can point to areas of attention. Are you saving enough? Are you borrowing too much or too little? Are you paying too much bad debt? Next, you want to know what destinations you want to bring your family. Say, sending your children to university, owning properties giving you rental income, or retiring rich in the Bahamas. Write down those goals and put down the timeline and amount needed. A general roadmap can then be planned out, taking into account the distance, time, and resources needed. Next, determine the optimal asset allocation needed to achieve those goals. It has to match risk and return needs and your loss aversion. It's like choosing a car for the journey, depending if you like to go fast and furious or slow and steady. You may want a Ferrari, a four-wheel drive, or something in between. Given your resources, it may not be realistic to reach all the goals in the time that you have initially planned. In that case, you may need to adjust the goals or adjust your finances, like cutting unnecessary expenses, eliminating bad debt, or increasing leverage. On the other hand, if the goals mean so much to you, you may just need to drive a little faster and work a bit harder. As you plan the roadmap, you'll need Plan B or Plan C to deal with contingencies like medical bills, loss of income due to disability, or even death, so that the family can still reach the destination you planned out. And off you go! As all road trips go, they never happen exactly the way you planned. There may be road bumps, obstacles, distractions, maybe even disasters that take you off the path. Along the way, you may need to slow down when there is a hazard ahead, and take advantage of opportunities to speed up. When you ultimately arrive at the destination, you'll want to be in a position that your money is now working for you, instead of you working for your money.